Hey everyone, we are going to talk about the first section from chapter 8, and it's all about circles and circumference, okay? I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. Okay, your essential question, how can you find the circumference of a circle? Let's review some of our circle parts, okay? A circle is a set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a point called the center. So you have this little center piece here, it's directly in the middle. And then all of these, which we call the radius, so all the radii are exactly the same length. So think about like a tire with spokes coming out, okay? All of those spokes are the same length. Okay, the radius is the distance from the center to any point on the circle. So here's a radius, you could draw another radius here, okay? And the diameter is the distance across the circle through the center, so all the way across. All right, so you have radius and diameter. The plural for radius is radii. You can kind of do some hand motions to help you remember this stuff. I'll kind of draw it out for you right here. If you were a person here, okay, both arms out like that would be your diameter, and then one arm would be the radius. So it doesn't matter which arm it is, right? Radius, radius, diameter. Do that a couple times, it'll stick in your brain. It's super duper helpful. Again, and then you have the circle all the way around, excuse me. Okay, so key idea, we're talking about radius and diameter. So from that, you can see here, right? If here's one arm and here's one arm, and then there's both of your arms out, you know that the radius is half of the diameter, okay? So in words, the diameter, which we represent with a lowercase d, of a circle is twice the radius, which we represent with a lowercase r, okay, or the radius r is of a circle is 1/2 of the diameter. So however you think about it, right? If the radius is 2 inches, then the diameter is 4 inches. If the diameter is 10 feet, then the radius is 5 feet, and so on, okay? So a couple quick little examples here, finding the radius and diameter. Without looking at these instructions here, I have a circle, and this line goes all the way across through the circle, okay? So think about it. That's both arms out. That's the diameter. So we have a diameter of 20 feet, okay? And I know that the radius is equal to the diameter divided by 2, okay? You could write it out or do it in your head. So if I take the diameter and divide it by 2, 20 divided by 2, so the radius is 10 feet. Do not forget your units of measurement, you guys. You must have them there, okay? Looking at question B, again, cover this up so you can see what's provided, right? This is just from the center to the outside of the circle. This is just your one arm out, okay? So this is the radius that is given. And I know that I have to find the diameter, so the diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. So 2 times 7 is, 14 meters. So the diameter is 14 meters, okay? Again, don't forget your unit of measurement. All right, so that's a pretty simple concept to get you started. So now let's take it to the next level. We need that information to find this idea of circumference. Circumference is the distance around an entire circle. So think back to when you did rectangles and things like that, we found the perimeter, which was the distance around, a polygon. Now we're talking about the distance around a circle. We don't call it perimeter, we call it circumference, okay? So the circumference, which we represent with a capital C of a circle, is equal to pi times the diameter, or pi times twice the radius. So two formulas, but they're exactly the same because pi times d or pi times 2r, okay? Because 2 times the radius is equal to d. So they're the same thing. It's, if you're given the radius, you can use this formula. If you're given the diameter, you can use this formula. So there's that number pi that we talked about earlier that goes on and on and on forever. I showed in another video, right? It's this crazy long number. This is only one teeny little part of it because this number literally goes on forever. It's that number you get when you take the circumference and divide it by the diameter of a perfect circle, you'll get this irrational number every single time. So we're going to use 3.14 for pi. Okay, this is an approximation. So this is when you start seeing the equal to signs. That one's a little sloppy. Let me try again. That look like that, which means approximately equal to, because we're rounding and using things like that. Directions will say use 3.14 for pi, or you'll also see them say use 22/7, okay, which is an improper fraction. But if you take 22 and divide it by 7 on your calculator, you see you get something similar to what pi is. You guys will probably most often use this because you have the ability to punch it into a calculator, okay? Some calculators, like your scientific calculators, you'll see they have a pi button. Mine is right there. But in 7th grade, we just use the approximation for pi, which is 3.14. Okay, so that's circumference, and let's figure out how to calculate it. So example 2, finding the circumference of circles. So here's a flying disc. We call them frisbees. What is provided to you? This is the radius, right? So I know that this is the radius is equal to 5 inches, okay? I'm going to use 3.14 for pi because that's probably what you guys will be using, okay? And if we look here, the radius is 5 inches. So will I use c equals pi times d or c equals 2 pi r? Okay, so I'm going to write my formula here. C equals 2 pi r. C is equal to 2 times 3.14 times r, which is 5. And since this is an approximation, I'm going to put the about equals 2. Punch 2 times 3.14 times 5 into your calculator, and you get 31.4. And don't forget your unit of measurement, okay? You could use c equals pi times d if you want to just use that formula all the time, except because you're given the radius is 5 inches, what's the diameter? Okay, the diameter would be 10 inches, so you would just have to use 3.14 times 10, which would give you the exact same answer. So the formulas work the same, you just have to adjust your radius or diameter, okay? All right, I want you to try these 3 questions here, so pause it. Again, it says use 3.14 or 22/7. Sometimes this one's easy to use when you have things that are, multiples of 7 because it cross cancels nice and easy, but use whatever you'd like, okay? So pause it and give it a try. All right, hopefully you gave those a try. The answer to number 3 is approximately 12.56 centimeters. For question 4, if you use 3.14 for pi, you get approximately 43.96 feet. If you used 22/7, you would get approximately 44 feet. So you can see how similar those are and how close they are in value because we're approximating. And question 5 was approximately 28.26 inches. So hopefully you did an okay job finding circumference, okay? So practice those 2 formulas, making sure you can differentiate between radius and diameter. That's the biggie. All right, so let's look at question 3, or example 3 here. It says find the perimeter of a semicircle. Now, the reason why we say perimeter is because it's no longer a full circle. So it's just the distance around, an object. So I want you to think, I have a little whiteboard here, I want to draw a circle for you. If I draw a circle like this, and I, let's say this was a swimming pool or something, I don't know, okay, and I wanted to put a fence around here. Swimming pool's probably a bad example, right? There's my circle, and I only wanted half of it. Well, this is not gonna, hold everything in, so you have to add that diameter back in, okay? So you could see, if you start with a circle here, and our goal is to find the measurement of a semicircle, which would be right there. All right, here's my circle. I would be dividing it by 2, but then I have to add this piece back in. Okay, I always think about perimeter. You guys heard me say it before. It's like taking a walk around your figure, and you have to start and end at the same place. Okay, all right, so if we give that a try here, semicircle is 1/2 of a circle. Okay, so I have, if you look here, what's provided? This goes all the way across. So that is the diameter that's given to you, okay? So C equals pi times D. C equals 3.14 times 6. C is equal to 18.84 meters. But this is like the circumference if this was an entire circle, and it's not an entire circle, it's a semicircle. So I need to take this and I need to divide it by 2, okay? So divide by 2 because we only want half of the circle. Okay, so now I'm at 9.42. Well now, because I divided it by 2, I'm only talking about this part right here. So remember what I was just talking about with the whiteboard, I have to add back this whole distance right here. So I'm going to add the diameter back in, which is 6 meters. So if I add that all up, I get 15.42 meters as my perimeter of the semicircle, okay? So the math is the same, you just have to take half of it. All right, so here's a couple down here I want you to try. You're gonna pause it in just a second, but let me talk about them first. You could look at number 7. The diameter is provided to you here, so you're gonna find the circumference, divide by 2, and add that back in. Here the diameter is given to you, but look at question number 9. They did not give you the diameter, they gave you the radius. So I know that this whole thing here is not 15 inches, but 30 inches. So you're gonna have to add 30 inches back, okay? So go ahead and pause it and give those 3 a try. All right, hopefully you paused it. Question 7 is approximately 5.14 feet. Okay, question 8. This is one of those, multiples of 7, so using 22 over 7 is an easy way to do it. If you use 22 over 7, it is approximately 18 centimeters, but if you just calculated with 3.14, it ended up being approximately 17.99 centimeters. So either one of those are okay. This is the one if you use 22 over 7, all right? And question number 9 here was approximately 77.1 inches. All right, so give these a try. Go back, watch the video, try a few of these problems again, and then log on to the practice problems and give it a shot.